Hello, everybody, and Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Sports Trends, where we will be talking about Pakistan's concluded T20 series. They played the last game and won it by 5 runs. Alongside me, we have both of our normal panelists and familiar faces, Saad and Nasser. So, welcome, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
So, what are your thoughts? Finally, a win after so many many heart attacks and losses in the start.
Yeah, it was a tough win, especially I think everyone thought after Rauf conceded the 6 second last ball, we were like, oh, not again. We're going to concede a minimum match. But finally, our first win on the tour. So, I mean, it's going to be good for the boys to go back with some pride. Obviously, the people are happy that we won a match, and, it's a good win at the end of the day.
What do you say, Nasser?
Unfortunately, it was our only win of the tour, and we didn't have a great tour. We got lucky in the third test. The first T20, I don't know what would have happened. Second one, yeah, we didn't play too well, and this one we did all right. We weren't exceptional. We weren't outstanding. We didn't blow them out of the water. They kept going in the game. They made mistakes. If Morgan didn't get run out, maybe who knows what would have happened. They sort of threw their wickets away in a way. Okay, Bairstow was a beautiful one by Shaheen. Malan did a Emma Chazad, when there's one fielder out there,
Yeah,
and he picked out that one fielder. It was a great catch, though.
Very good.
Yeah.
But there's one fielder there. He could have hit it 10 yards either way, and it probably would have been fine. But he hit it to the one guy. Morgan run out, and then it's all about one partnership, and Moeen Ali did that. A lot of There are a lot of positives and negatives. Batting wise, Hafiz again, Heather Ali, huge positive out of the world, insane. We all asked for him to play for the entire series, and no. We played him today. We saw what happened. But then Shadab also was a negative in a way.
What were your thoughts on Heather really? I mean, it was a good innings, but he looked like he was kind of blindly slogging in the beginning, but then in the end, he kind of got his act together. But he's played a good knock on debut, right?
Yeah, I think he was a bit nervous, to be honest. Like the second ball he hit for 6, so I think that really calmed his nerves. But I think he was very in the mood of like trying to show what he's all made of. Like the fact that he was always trying to get a boundary to the leg side, even when Lewis Gregory was bowling in with a long leg side boundary, he was still trying to beat that leg side. And we've seen, especially in PSL, we've seen him play through the offside in the under 19 World Cup. We saw him play through the offside. He's a player who can play all around the wicket. But in this game, he was very adamant to just have a big slog and play to the left side, and it worked, and he scored a good 50. But I think the more he plays, the more confidence he gets. We're going to see his class and his strokes to the offside as well, because we've seen that in the World Cup where he had that fantastic cover drive in the quarterfinals or semifinals, and people straight away knew he's a talent. So the fact that he played 50 and he was only playing one side of the wicket, who knows what he can do when he starts playing both sides.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, if England had a better team, like better bowler lineup, no offense to them, other than Jordan, no one was probably their front like starting bowlers. Like they all bowled through the stumps, like he was only hitting the leg side. If you saw, it was like mid off to the leg side and then a few points, so it was all bottom handed. Like he has to work on his offside. It can't just be he can only hit leg side. Like maybe it was his first one. Teams didn't know about him, but like if you're playing a series and after 2 games you see that, obviously you're only going to bowl full and wide, and the guy couldn't. He didn't try and access it because he didn't have to.
Same thing happened with if you remember Fakhr Zaman when he came in the Champions Trophy. He was kind of aiming the one area, but then people found out his weakness, and then they really exploited it. But if you look at Heather Ali, like he has a decent first class record. I think he scored a few centuries last year and in ODIs, but I guess he was just trying to make a mark. But Heather Ali performed well, but we all know our favorite Hafiz. He scored 86 and takes home man of the series. So what are your thoughts on Hafiz?
Our favorite Hafiz. He'll play for the next 5 years.
Yeah, he's cemented to how long he wants to play. But in all seriousness, he's played really well this series. A lot of pressure was going to be on him and Malik. Obviously, people were they kind of want new talent. Some people have enough of these two players. But today and the second T20, Hafiz showed that he still has enough in him. The fact that he was able to score 60 odd in the second T20 and then back it up with another 80 in this game, and especially in English conditions, a lot of times we go overseas and our batsmen can't adjust against other bowling teams. But Hafiz, he played fantastically. I think he deserved man of the match and man of the series. He played a fantastic hand for us and helped us win this game today.
बस वो
Mhm.
खेल लिया ना उसने अब मतलब अब नहीं खेलेगा वो अगले साल तक.
And now, Zimbabwe is coming, so I guess everyone has the opportunity to get their
Oh,
Yeah.
averages up now.
Yeah.
oh no! Now Hafiz will score 300 or 200 and 250 in 3 innings. If he gets to play
Yeah.
all three, which
And
I don't
sadly,
doubt
we're
he will.
missing two of our other panelists. Sarfraz is here, and Farouk Bhai and Amir Bhai have not joined the show today. Finally, he got a chance. He's wicket keeping. He missed a tough stumping, but he didn't get a chance to bat. So, are you guys happy to see Sarfraz today?
I was over the moon. I mean, I woke when I saw that he was in the 11 at the toss time. I was running all around the house. Oh, Safras is playing. Safras is playing. But as soon as I watched the game, started seeing like when Hafiz came two down, I was like, it's gonna be tough for Safras to come in because unless they throw Safras in the waters, while sending him in the last 3 overs and like not having him a chance, not giving him a chance to bat, it was better that he didn't come out and bat, especially according to the situation. Because if he came where someone like Imad Wasim came, and Safraz's game is not to hit boundaries or he'll go for sixes. He needs to build his innings. But if they threw Safraz when Imad came and he didn't hit anything, people would be like, "Oh, Safraz can't hit. His dropping was justified and everything." But he didn't bat today, so no one can say anything. He deserves to play in the next series as well. And I would use him top of the order against Zimbabwe. He'll definitely score some runs, and then hopefully stays in the team for a long time.
So Aram, I have a question for you. You're a big Rizwan fan, as we all
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
In your opinion, both of them didn't bat. Both of
This
them kept,
series.
and we could hear them pretty clearly through the sub mic. Who do you think, in your opinion, should be the keeper in
I mean, if
T20?
you look at T20s, I think Sarfraz is a better option because of his batting. With the gloves, I think there's no one better than Rizwan in the country right now. Even Sarfraz, he was a bit rusty today, but maybe he was under pressure. But I think in T20s, Sarfraz is the better option. Sad. Hopefully we
Yeah,
find another option, but because if you look at the current team, like it's so one-dimensional, like except for like Fakhr, who's always inconsistent, it's like an ODI batting lineup. Like
yeah.
if no one steps up, you're not going to get more than 150, and I think that's worrying a sign for the team. They need to get like an explosive hitter or someone.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
what
think
what would both of you, your ideal? I'm gonna throw it out there. We talked about the game, everything that. What would be your ideal T20 11? You know,
I think
of
more
all
than
the
just
players
like
that are playing at the
11.
moment.
I think we just need to make like one or two changes at best. I think we need
Okay.
a big hitter at number 6. Like if Shoaib Malik's role at batting at number 6 to hit boundaries, then he should have come out to bat instead of Shadab or Amal Wasim. But if he didn't come out, clearly that's not his role. But then what I don't understand is Heather Ali 3, Hafiz 4, Malik 5, Safraz 6. All of those players want to bat top 4. So you can't fit all of them in. I think you need to drop one, which I would suggest should
Shoaib
be
Malik,
Shoaib
no
Malik
doubt.
because Heather Ali and Hafiz are undroppable, and Safraz is the keeper, so you can't drop him. So I suggest dropping Shoaib Malik and getting in a power hitter. Someone like Kushdil Shah, we saw in the PSL, had a good inning against, I think it was Lahore, where he hit 70 off 30 odd deliveries. Iftikhar, I mean, he's the other option. He had a couple
He's
of good
not bad,
innings.
honestly.
He's
Like
not bad. He
people,
had a couple of good
yeah.
innings in Australia. So he could be an option. I mean, they tried Asif Ali.
No
Unfortunately,
way.
his circumstances in that time were really tough. So I don't know if that had an impact on his game. But apart from that, we really need more big hitters. We try to groom for him. Ashraf, I don't know where we went wrong. Maybe we made the ball too much, bat too much. Right now, nothing he does works. So he obviously is not the answer to Misbah in management. So I think realistically, they need to find someone at number 6 and really groom him. If the next series they play Kushtil Shah, then they need to play him all 3 games and
Yeah.
tell him, wait, it's okay if you get out trying to go for a 692nd ball. That's your role. You're supposed to go for boundaries. And players in those situations aren't going to have high averages. So people need to really calm down, lower the expectations at times because people after 2 series will be like, oh, Kushta Shah has an average of 19 or 15. But in reality, you look at it, he has 20 of 10 out, 20 of 15 out, something like that. And then he has one inning that's 45 of 20. And you can't really justify those players by their numbers. You have to really understand the circumstances and really what's going on in the game for you to decide if they deserve to be in that squad.
Like if you look at England, for example, like Tom Banton, he was struggling, and Pakistan brought him back to form. But if you look at like players like Rory Burns, for example, they're like he didn't get I didn't even he crossed double digits maybe once that Test series. But if
Yeah.
you look at the England fan base, they're not saying, "Oh yeah, Rory out." If it was a Pakistani opener, I'm 100% sure they would have found
I
like
mean,
10 replacements by now.
Shan Masood scored 150, and so many people are asking for him to be dropped. So
Yeah, so like you need to give them a proper run. There's no other option. And like Khushtil Shah, I think they should have played him today. It's these like, every World Cup, there's like a few seniors that always like screw things over. Like 2019, we already know what happened. Going into next year's World Cup, Hafiz is gonna play, and I think maybe in Indian conditions I wouldn't mind it. But Shoaib Malik, he's been here for so long. Maybe it's better to just take a farewell series and just walk away.
Okay, so going into the World Cup next year, obviously you're gonna need 2 spinners at the minimum,
Yeah.
2 to 3 spinners, and then you're gonna take maximum 3 to 4 fast bowlers.
I think two
After
spinners.
after I think today's performance and over the last year, I think Wahab Riaz is a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Would we all agree on that?
I think they would take 2 spinners to play and then 1 as a backup. For example, if one of the spinners Omar Khan is an option. I think the next.
But would Imad Wasim go? Should Imad Wasim go?
Is Imad Wasim a spinner? I wouldn't even call him a spinner. He's bowling like medium pacers.
He was bowling like 5 Ks less than I think Lewis Gregory. I mean,
like,
I wasn't that
if you
far.
look at our bowling, we all support them, right? But like, if you look at Shadab, I don't see any good performances by him with the ball in a long time. This guy gets smashed all around the park. In the first game, it was Banton. Last game, he kind of got things under control. But today,
he had a good
Moeen
over.
Ali just ended him. Moeen Ali just ended it. Why? Why don't they get better? Like, spinning wise, like Shadab with the bat, he's like, if he's bowling well, they'll be like, okay, he's a bowler. If he's batting well, they'll be like, it's a batsman.
Yeah,
he's not consistent with anything.
He's another player that his role is very undefined.
When he started, he had a really good googly. He used to get Babar Azam and players that get up. That googly's gone. That magic googly they used to have.
I think people just learned that's his only trick now.
No, but he also had a leg spinner that didn't turn, but it straightened at the very least. His googly was short. Like, if you remember, it used to have bounce and used to like zip off the wicket. It's a quick googly, it's not there anymore. To like Moeen Ali, he just didn't do anything. It was just like 2 full ones. Moeen Ali came down the track, then a half tracker, which like
he just goes fast. He just wants to go quick. I don't know what he's trying to do. And like, if you look at Indian wickets, you need like a proper spinner. And I don't think Pakistan has a proper spinner right now. Shadab, you can't rely on him. Imad is just wicket to wicket, pull quickly in the power play, and you're done.
What about Zafar Gohar?
I think Zafar Gohar is a possibility.
Mohammad Nawaz, Omar Khan.
Yeah, all these guys. Maybe like the Zimbabwe series shouldn't be Malik and Hafiz scoring like 500 runs and cementing their place. Maybe it should be giving all of these guys a chance. Every domestic PSL player. But I doubt they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
So you'd bring in, who would you bring in though in place of Hafiz and Malik? We said Khushtil Shah for 1.
I think Hafiz needs to play. I think there's no point.
He should play, but it's a very short-term solution. Like
as much as people like don't like Iftikhar, but I think he is a good hitter. Like in Australia, the strikes that he did, they were really good. And don't forget that he's a bowler as well. He can bowl. Like, he got Morgan out in the first game. He's a decent player as well. So, maybe groom Iftikhar, and I think Misbah's going to keep Iftikhar because ever since he's been here. So
I don't think there's much to groom Iftikhar for. I mean, like,
Atif Kadir saying, Salam guys, walaikum salam, and Hasnan Khan saying, what club do you play for? You guys play for any clubs?
No, not at the moment.
No.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like about
for the bowlers, is Amir gonna come back? Do you guys think Amir has a spot in the team?
I think if we're being honest, I think Amir is not really at the top of the pecking order anymore. If I'm being very honest, I would even want to see Hasnan play before Amir in the next series because I honestly believe Hasnan should have played today. I think it's justified that Wahab Riaz played. Maybe it was he's replacing a left armer and Amir, so it makes sense. And Wahab, he's very skilled in the death, especially with the old ball. We saw they try to get it to reverse a bit. We saw the Chris Jordan reverse it a tad bit at the end of their inning. So they tried to get it for Rauf and Wahab, and it might have done a bit, but not enough to make impact. But I think he was justified to play. But for me, Hasnan also needs to play. He's been going on tours to Australia. He stayed 2 whole months in the bubble. He went last year to the World Cup, didn't play a game. So unless he has, I don't know what's his issue. Is he going onto these tours and not being able to bowl well in the nets? Or because I'm not understanding why he goes to all these tours and doesn't play. I feel like he should have played today instead of Haris Rauf. We saw Haris Rauf for 2 games. He wasn't at his best. And then again today's 4 overs weren't at his best, but he showed glimpses of what he can do. I think
Yeah.
next series, maybe give a chance to Hasnan, and hopefully.
I mean, when you look at it, there shouldn't be an issue. Like if the guy's getting selected, he should play because the chief selector and the head coach is the same person.
Good point.
Like if the chief selector is choosing someone, he's going to think about playing him, you know. Because before, it was different. Chief selector was different. Head coach did not have a say in Mickey Arthur. Now it's the same person. So if you're getting selected, you should be given a game at the very least.
It doesn't make sense. Because if you look at it, like in the test team, they're gonna select a 16-year-old. They're gonna bring Shaheen. You know, they're gonna take out all the old guys. In T20, if you look at Australia, like the team that they're taking to England, they're bringing like their big bash guys. They're taking all the young talents. You know, It's at the end of the day, it's not just winning in the T20 the game. You know, it's like trying out the new guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing with England. These guys, just honestly speaking, this was a pretty weaker England side that was playing in Australia. So you know they could have tried things out. If you had 29 players in England, why fly in Shoaib Malik? You know, just give them a try. So I don't know what's going on. You know, like they could have given Heather Ali 2 games instead of 3. But you know, and Khushal Shah could have played, but I don't know what their thinking is.
If Heather Ali didn't score today, how much pressure he would be on, because people wanted to see him play and he doesn't play, and then you throw him in the 3rd game where, let's be honest, there was a lot of pressure on all of Pakistan players today. You're down 1-0 in the series. You haven't won a game this whole tour. Everything you've touched has not turned into goal. You're making mistakes left, right, and center. Malik can't score runs. If Takar, you give him a chance, hasn't scored runs. If you put Heather Ali, he came in the 2nd over, 2 for 1. He's definitely under pressure. And if he didn't score today, who knows how that affects his confidence and his morale going into the next series.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Muhammad Musa Khan?
Another player I feel kind of bad for. Sorry to cut you off. I also think he came to the tour, but then he got sent back when Amir was allowed to come. So tough on him. But we saw him, I think, play 1 Test match and 1 T20 in Australia. Obviously, he's got raw pace, a bit of swing we saw as well in the PSL. But I don't think he is better than the group that we have right now in the T20 setup. At least I think Hasnan is better than him.
A lot of bowlers, right?
Ralph, we have a lot of players, and I don't think he is at that level yet. Obviously, he's young. We can groom him. He has potential. Maybe in the next couple of years, he can get into that selection committee's eyes, and then might play for national team again. But right now, I think he's just a level behind them at the moment.
No, here's the thing. I feel he was hard done when you force him to play.
Let's count the bowlers
for the future. Amir, no, not Amir.
Who are all the bowlers we have?
Hasnan, Naseem, Shaheen.
Let's talk about like the current pace batting, including Wahab and Amir.
Okay, if you were to say there's about, I think, 8 of them, you know, Naseem, Shaheen, Hasnan, Musa, Haris Rauf, Wahab Riaz, Muhammad Amir. Does Shinwari count in that?
Yeah, Shinwari. You have to.
Okay, so Shinwari would go if we were to order him, Shinwari would go maybe 8. T20 wise.
Who else is left then?
I think Sohail Khan is left, but I don't think he was in the T20 squad.
Sohail Tanveer, you know, maybe.
I think
that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's.
But no, like, pro Shaheen as well. But like, if you look at there's no consistency in the bowling. That's what's kind of missing, you know. Like Haris Rauf, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. Like, I think he's just under pressure, but he's a good bowler if he, you know, bowls properly.
He struggled.
If we go through these 8 players I said for T20, who would be your top 4? Top 4.
That's a tough one.
Shai out maybe. I'd say Musa's not ready yet. Not ready yet compared to these other bowlers. He's good, but he still needs maybe a year or 2 to be up to this level.
I think the top 4 should be the 3. I think the top 4 would be Wahab. I would have in there. Shaheen definitely. I personally am a big fan of Hassan, so I would have him in there. And it's between Rauf and Amir. And because Amir, I mean, he got injured last game. I don't want to be too tough on him, but he's missed a lot of games recently. I know he's not in the red ball format, so maybe that's why he's not really a fan favorite no more. But I would say he's fighting for that 4th spot against Rauf. And the way Rauf basically played all 3 T20s, so he might be in that top 4 instead of Amir.
What do you think, Nasser?
So you don't say Naseem is top 5 best?
Not in T20s. I think we've really put too much pressure on him. We need to let him play himself into people's eyes at the moment. We can't just say just because he's a 16-year-old, any balls fast. He needs to get into every team we have. I think right now Hasnan is a better option than him. Rauf, Amir, and Wahab, all better, and Shaheen obviously, all better
See,
options.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's where you got to decide for. Your next World Cup is in India, which is going to be usually teams play 2 paces at max. And if on a really bad track, they play 1 really out and out quick. And then in Australia, the year after, where the T20 World Cups, you'll play 4 most probably. So you can have an extended lineup. But I think for next year, I don't think as good as Amr is on those flat tracks. If Amr is not opening the bowling, he is not going to play because it's going to be straight on. The ball's going to come straight on, and he doesn't have that X factor. Like he's still good, but
he doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the pace anymore.
He doesn't have the pace. He has a good cutter, but his cutter's he's bowling 130 usually. His cutter's 125, or 120, which is not effective. For that, you need either someone out and out quick. So Harsh Rauf still needs some time to work on it.
I think
if you look at the last T20 World Cup that we played, I think what went wrong for Pakistan is because they had Irfan, Wahab, Amir, and Muhammad Sami, right?
Yeah.
So like they had like 4 seamers, and every game they're like, you know what, Afridi can't just bowl spin. Like they need a second spinner. If you remember the India-Pakistan game, they played I think 4 quicks with Afridi.
Yeah, and like that was a turning wicket. I don't know how Waqar Yunus decided to go with 4 paces.
To put in Shoaib Malik, I think, to bowl, but like I think they need a proper spinner, maybe like Umar Khan, like a specialist spinner, not an all-rounder, like a specialist spinner.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a horror show. Because Shadab and Imad, you can't rely on any of them.
I think the next PSL is going to tell a lot about the team that we select. Similar conditions in Pakistan to India. So whoever performs well catches the selection committee's eyes. They have a good chance. For me, I think it's going to be 2 spinners and 3 pacers who are going to play. And I think out of the 2 spinners, it's very likely that Shadab is going to be in there. The fact that he plays under Misbah in Islamabad, he showed he could bat. He obviously has some skill with the ball. So he probably would be in there unless he has a very poor PSL and someone else has a fantastic PSL and someone who is kind of an all-rounder to play at number 7. Because I think at the end of the day, the number 7's got to be able to bat, and preferably the number 8 should be able to bat, and then 9.
So I remember till I think in last year, a few years ago, there was a case about Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab.
I don't know what's wrong.
Nawaz just dropped off with his bowling and his batting as well at the same time.
Yeah,
I think Nawaz has a good year.
I feel Nawaz has been having good years for a couple of years now, not only in PSL but in domestic cricket. He bats quite high. A lot of times he bats 5-6 for his province in first class, and he scores hundreds. But obviously there's a big drop-off between domestic cricket and international cricket. We've seen some of our players who hit a lot of centuries and then come to national team and not play well. But I think Nawaz has good capabilities, good power in himself. He's a good left-arm off spinner who actually spins the ball. We're going to need that in India. We see the last T20 World Cup 2016. New Zealand made it to the semi-finals based off spinners who really turned the ball sharp. Santner turned it well, Nathan McCullum turned it well, and Soli turned it well. So they did really well in their selection process. So I think Nawaz should be in the eyes of the selection committee. If he has a good PSL with the ball and bat, he could be in that team going to India for the T20 World Cup next year as well.
Yeah, I think, but overall, I think Pakistan played a better game than England today, just by a little bit. We didn't blow them out of the water. We played their second team. Their best batsman ran himself out.
Got run out. I think tough.
That was the turning point, I think.
Yeah, we played our best.
What about Banton? What are your thoughts on Tom Banton? Like, he was an exciting player. Like in county, he was explosive. In the PSL, he disappointed. But in these last 2-3 games, actually, he played really well. So what are your thoughts on Tom Banton?
Yeah, I think he's a very solid cricketer. He can play both sides of the wickets. We've seen him play reverse sweeps for 6 and sweeps, regular sweeps. So he can play well. But I think when it comes to England looking towards the T20 World Cup, they gotta know if he can play in spin conditions. We saw him struggle in the PSL. So if they really want to have faith in him, I believe the Sri Lanka tour that they were going to have might not happen, if I'm not mistaken.
But he plays spin well though. He was struggling against left arm quicks though. That's what his issue went to PSL, and that happened.
So one comment we have, we're just about to touch on this topic. Who should replace Fakhr? Like Fakhr, he played decently well in the first game, but today I think he got out to a front foot defensive shot. Like he should have just stepped out of his crease and defended it, but he made it look like it was like a dusra or something. But so like, what are your thoughts on Fakhr?
I think the
I mean,
simple.
I
Yeah,
think
go on.
he's had his chances. He's it's been for a while now, for over the last year, that he's not been giving you the performance he's required. He's still been playing off that 2017 Champions Trophy 100, the double 100 against Zimbabwe, mashallah, Zimbabwe, and then he hasn't done anything else. Australia, he didn't do anything. PSL was pretty unfortunate for him. It was very iffy. And
Sharjeel
then
maybe?
I think Sharjeel, you have to give someone else an option.
Yeah, I
The
think
National
Sharjeel.
T20 Cup is actually coming up in September, so maybe that's gonna change something.
Yeah, we'll see how closely they. I think just one last topic before we wrap it up. I would like to talk about Sarfraz behind the stumps. Obviously we talk about that missed stumping, but I think do you guys feel he had an impact in the game today? As
He's more chirpy, that's for sure.
I also did he help Babar Azam? I think the one thing I noticed straight away was Sarfraz is back in the team and Babar Azam standing at slip, and you could see they're talking the first over, talking second over. We saw the review that led to a wicket of Tom Banton, Sarfraz and Rauf probably, and Babar Azam. I think he was going to review it most likely, but with the help of Sarfraz, he got that. Do you think he made a impact? Did he help Babar Azam in a way today in his captaincy? What are you guys' thoughts on Sarfraz behind the stumps and his leadership in this game?
I think I personally don't know if he had an impact, but if he did, it's for the better. But Sarfraz is experienced when it comes to T20s. Like he's captained Pakistan to 11 consecutive series wins, so obviously his tips would be beneficial for Babar. But I think going down the road, Sarfraz will be the T20 wicketkeeper, and I think that's rightly so. And I guess he will help Babar, but at the end, I think Babar Shoaib Malik is involved heavily on the field, and especially with all the team huddles. So maybe I think Malik is who Babar listens to more.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I think that's like you don't bat, you don't feel like you don't bowl. Your fielding's your only impact, and he didn't have a great one to it. He had everything else, but other than that, his keeping was a bit below. Yeah, he in the end, when Pakistan required it, that the edge of
it was a big stop.
He's bowling that was gonna go down to for 4, that he ended
got
up
a hand on it.
Got a hand on it and parried it to third man, and then Wahab's first ball well down the leg side. But this stuff you expect from your keeper. Yeah. Unfortunately for us, we take it as a big thing as a Pakistani. That keeper ne rok liya. So I think from that. But other than that, lads, do you have any last
Rizwan has spoiled us, by the way. So
Rizwan has done. I think it was.
One more thing. What are your thoughts on the Raptors game tonight?
Tough loss today for the Raptors. Down 2 in the series, but inshallah Raptors in 6.
I mean, Raptors played like they play like the old Raptors, when you're winning, and then
they played like Pakistan. Let's just be honest here.
No, it's fine though. It's not. It's been a tough year, But
yeah, it was tough.
Do you guys think though maybe last year we know that they were able to turn it around after 2-0 being down 2-0. Do you think they'll be able to do it again this year?
I mean, it's a demoralizing loss. You're up 12, you end up losing.
Yeah.
By 3. When you had a timeout of 6 seconds to go, you don't take it.
The thing that hurts is that it's not that they're getting dominated. It's that they're kind of giving it away. The first game they played horrible. The second game they kind of give it away. It's not like they're losing by an explosive performance or anything.
I think it's disappointing. Regroup and then come back for game 3, because game 3 is a big one. If we lose game 3, I think that's the series. If Raptors lose game 3, there's no way they're coming back from 3-0 down.
Yeah.
And then any last words, boys? Aram, Sadi, on any Pakistan or anything you wish for?
I don't think there's going to be any action for a long time except for the IPL and this England series. So don't know.
I think it was good to see Pakistan go to England. The fans really want some cricket. We were all engaged to the TVs. We got some good cricket throughout the 6 matches. I think only 3 had a result, but it's all right. Some rain and all that happens in England. But I think it was good fun for the spectators to watch. I think I enjoyed watching the series, both T20s and the tests. So thanks to the ECB and for hosting Pakistan cricket team and Pakistan team for also going. So it was a great series overall, and I enjoyed it. Hopefully we see cricket again soon. What about you guys?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's all. I think that's all we have for today. And hopefully we'll see you soon if there's any cricket series, IPL hopefully,
probably
or
IPL coverage.
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe we might have some coverage in the middle about England, Australia. But
Sure.
otherwise, hope to see you soon. And we'll see you later.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah.